One spot. Alabama businesses now have access to a centralized statewide electronic filing and remittance system for sales, use, and rental taxes, allowing city and county taxes to be filed along with state taxes through a single website, myalabamataxes.alabama.gov.
Hi, I'm Will Lockamy.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
And this is the Iron Bowl Hour.
Or as we like to call it, the show that sure is glad no one paid attention to that whole DJ Fluker story.
What DJ Fluker story?
Exactly.
On tonight's show.
Who is the worst coach in the SEC?
Is anybody going to see this?
No.
No,
Nobody
no.
watches this show.
Nobody's going to see this.
No.
Reed, it's time for another Agree to Disagree. Topics we have to disagree on.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Here we go. With Auburn's win in College Station last weekend, many are high on the Tigers, but not the voters in the coaches poll. Does Auburn deserve to be ranked as low as 17th in the nation?
Yeah, without question, I'm high. I think that
You're what now?
I'm high on the Tigers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm high on the Tigers, but in fact, anyone who ranked them as low as 17th clearly is high. Reed, this makes no sense at all.
Well,
in fact,
the coaches are high then, Will, because that's who's ranked them 17th in the nation.
Exactly, Reed.
Yeah.
They've ranked them not only 17th, but 2 spots behind Texas A&M,
Yeah.
who has lost 2 games,
Yeah,
both at home,
but-
and including to Auburn.
Yeah,
How
but
do you
they're-
rank them behind them?
Well, Texas A&M is the best 2-loss team in the nation. I mean, everybody agrees on that. They're ranked 15th in the nation, Will. That's pretty good.
Right, with the 118th worst rushing defense in the country. Could have even gotten worse this week.
Absolutely. That's their excuse. A fantastic football team. Look, they're able to do what they're doing even with a horrible defense. So they deserve to be ranked 15th in the nation. Auburn deserves to be a little bit behind them at 17th.
So explain also that Louisville, who plays no one
great
and
team.
who plays no one
Yeah.
and on this no one schedule has dropped a game. They're ranked ahead of
To
Auburn?
UCF, well, that's the Knights, right? That's
Right.
a heavily
Are they the
armored
Knights?
team.
I
Yeah,
have
think
no
that's
idea.
right, and yeah, something like that. But listen, Louisville's a great team. You know, Mike Dyer plays there. That's a good team, and Charlie Strong. Listen,
Speaking of
Strong
being
is
high,
good. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So anyway, the point is this: it doesn't even matter what teams are ahead of Auburn. This is really about Auburn just being kind of a crappy football team.
How do you
Look
say, Reed, they're 6-1 at this point. They control their own destiny.
Yeah, but
They
they're
could-
about to lose more games. Probably going to drop a really embarrassing one to Arkansas, just like they did last year. Listen, don't forget, they went, 3-9 losses last year, right?
Last year?
Yeah, and let's not forget, they have a high school coach. How long can we keep calling him that, by the way? At
I
least
don't know why
another-
we're still calling him
Well,
that.
because he used to coach in high school. So they have a high school coach as their head coach, right? They lost all their games last year, except for maybe 3, although I can't remember for sure.
But are you saying the polls are influenced by something that's happened in the past?
I think that's the gist. Yeah. So here's the thing. Auburn. Let's not forget. Auburn lost to LSU, and that's a team who then went on to lose to Ole Miss, which is a horrible team. If you think about the way somewhere in the ladder. Actually, now that I think about it, you're right. Auburn is not ranked correctly. They should be back out of the top 25.
Well, Reed, obviously the LSU loss does deserve to be looked at here, but it was also like very early in the season. They were still figuring out who they were. This is a team that I think is appropriately ranked at 11th in the BCS.
Who do they have this week?
Florida Atlantic.
It's gonna be a tough one.
In a week where dissatisfied Grambling State players boycotted their game, and in a season where players are upset about concussions and lack of compensation, are more boycotts likely in the future?
Absolutely, Will, and I am loving it. These kids from Grambling, or as I call them, Grumbling State, right? This is a really smart move on their part.
Now, wait a minute.
Taking
Now, wait
it to
a
the
minute.
man, yeah.
Boycotts are kind of a hippie thing, right? I thought this was something we could agree on.
No. Protests, bra burnings, wearing trash bags, right? Dancing around at, was it the World, whatever those.
Burning Man.
That thing too, yeah, and also I was thinking about the corporate protests. That's all the hippie stuff, right? But listen, I can get behind a good boycott. Well, there are 17 businesses in Birmingham that I'm boycotting right now, right?
Like who?
Oh, I don't even have time to go into this. It's a short segment, but I like boycotts and I like what the players at Grumbling are doing.
Here's the thing. We're almost going to agree a little bit. I like what they did. This was a nasty situation they were dealing with
Literally.
at Grambling. Yeah, no, literally nasty. They're getting sick because of the issues with the floors. And the funniest part was they actually ordered the floors, had the money there for it, and just didn't install them because of some paperwork and red tape.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of red tape.
But here's the thing, Reed. This is a one-and-done kind of deal. If other teams started to do this, they could just start pulling scholarships from these players if they're not showing up to get on the bus, right? Obviously, I think what?
Well, they're going to bring in scrubs, Will, to play in the game. So you think people are going to go pay $65 a game to watch scrubs play?
It's Grambling State. That's what the players are anyway.
But not at other schools. Like, listen, have you seen Alabama's second string? Do you think people, listen, not even Alabama fans will stick around to watch the second string play, Will. So there's no way that they're going to, they're not going to start pulling scholarships.
Any respectable school that actually has people paying for tickets to go to the games has enough players that want to play no matter what.
So you're taking UAB out of the argument.
Exactly. Look at Ben Howell, who was on the show last week,
okay,
right?
I will.
He, of course, was a walk-on at Alabama. He would have done anything to play all 4 years. There are tons of players like that. So you don't have to worry about that with these schools that are respectable. Reed, boycotts are done.
But no one will go watch it. Listen, I love Ben Howell, and huge ratings on our show last week.
Oh, yeah.
But no one's going to go watch Ben Howell. Nobody's going to pay $70 to go watch
Are you talking bad about Ben Howell?
No, I would never do that. I'm just talking facts, Will. Just talking facts.
You just said no one would go see Ben Howell play football. I dare to say you're wrong.
Interesting.
Reed, I've packed my bags. I'm heading down to Auburn to do something I'm pretty excited about.
Oh, what you gonna go do? Boo at the airport, maybe?
Not this time.
Looking for Pat Dye's pants?
Nope.
In search of Terry Bowden's pot of gold?
Perhaps. Let's see. We've come to Auburn, Alabama today for what's pretty exciting. It's our biggest interview I think we've ever gotten. And of course, we've had a lot of big people on this show. So anyway, I'd like to get started. I'd like to thank you, first of all, for being here. This is a pretty big deal to me, and I'm sure all the viewers as well. When you leave the cage, do you get frightened by the fact there are 87,000 people below you as you're flying? And you know every time that there's a rat attached to the thing where they're holding in the middle of the field there?
This is not a parrot.
Since its inception 40 years ago, the Southeast Raptor Center has treated and rehabilitated thousands of birds. A lucky few have gone on to perform the pregame eagle flight at Auburn football games.
The very first eagle flight was in 2000, and that was Tiger, who flew free in Jordan-Hare Stadium as the very first eagle to ever do that. And since then, we've had Nova and Spirit, and they all three have flown in Jordan-Hare Stadium. However, Nova is War Eagle 7, so he's the 7th eagle that has represented us, but only 3 have ever actually flown free in the stadium.
So only since 2000, I think most people, when you think back about this as being this historic tradition, think that it goes back forever.
Well, there has been an eagle associated with Auburn's football program since 1892.
Wow.
However, the very first free flight was in 2000.
Minutes before kickoff of each Auburn home game, the Eagles fly just inches above the crowd as the fans chant, War Eagle.
We practice almost every day in the stadium, and then on game day there are just 87,000 of our friends watching.
So this is the War Eagle van. This is what the Eagles travel in from here to the stadium.
That's right. We take this van to the stadium every day, and then on game day it gets a lot of attention.
Can I ride in the War Eagle van?
I would love to get you in the van, absolutely.
Can I drive it?
No. Well, in 1892, our very first War Eagle made an appearance.
Yeah.
There was a Civil War veteran who had found an injured eagle on the battlefield decades before. Him and his eagle were a fixture here at Auburn University, and on that particular day, our team was playing Georgia at Piedmont Park. The eagle broke free from its handler and started soaring around the field, making everyone in the stands very excited. They started to scream, "Look, it's the War Eagle, it's the War Eagle." Well, the eagle then crashed dead in the middle of the field. But in the meantime, all that cheering and yelling rallied our team, and they came from behind and beat Georgia at Piedmont Park that day. So ever since then, War Eagle has been our battle cry, and we are now on our 7th War Eagle.
How about that? So what do you think the real story is?
Well, I think that the real story is that Auburn University has a big, strong spirit, and that eagles inspire a lot of emotions in people.
Sure, yeah.
And so our War Eagles do just that. They get the Auburn family excited about game day. All right, you both are going up, right? No, those guys are going up with you. He's trained that when he comes to that leather pad, it's got a food reward on it, and so he's usually happy to fly down and get his breakfast. There are a lot more distractions on game day, so it's easier for them to spend more time in the air.
Now that we've watched the Eagles train, it was time to see them live on game day.
Tonight's flight continues to message and conservation for all birds of prey through the Southeastern Raptor Center at the Auburn University College of Veterinary Medicine and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
That was pretty cool, but I was a little disappointed they didn't actually let me fly.
That's not possible, Will.
Check YouTube, Reed. They've got suits for that kind of stuff now.
No, I mean, it's a liability issue. They can't let you do that.
Up next, Reed, we go to the top of Vulcan with media superstar Doug Siegrist. Reed, it's time for rapid fire questions on the grill with sports media mogul Doug Siegrist. Here we go.
All right. Can we really expect the sports reporting at AL.com to be unbiased when it's named after Big Al?
No, but they're trying.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Better Baldy, Paul Feinbaum, Mike Rita, or Spirit the Eagle?
I'm going to give it to the two of us
Oh,
right now.
that's a good
Nice.
point. Yeah, you and Doug there is what you're doing. Yeah, okay.
Are you afraid of Nick Saban?
Not as much as I am of being up here right now.
It's a little high up here,
Pretty
yeah.
high.
Yeah.
True or false? The original name of the Crimson White was the White Crimson, but it was changed after the Civil Rights Movement.
False.
False. Okay.
Because it was that way when Gage Lease was sports editor.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a whole other issue.
more you know.
All right. Yeah.
Do football players wear cups?
No.
That's actually correct.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
the only person so far that's known that.
That is nuts. Should kickers be allowed to ride on the team bus?
Yeah, it's just, it's camaraderie. Yeah.
Okay, just for that reason.
Better sedative, warm milk or Major League Baseball?
I'm going to go with Major League Baseball because I fall asleep with it all the time. Big fan, though. Big fan. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sleep.
sure.
it gets to me.
And I like milk.
Is Auburn actually a good football team this year?
Auburn's a very good football team, on the verge of being an elite team in 2 or 3 years.
That's hard to believe. Yeah, crazy. Who is the worst coach in the SEC?
Is anybody going to see this?
No,
No,
nobody
no.
watches this show.
Nobody's going to see this.
No.
I mean, that's a tough call. Right now, I would go Will Muschamp is getting less out of his team than anybody. And I think that's the measurement you have to use.
He's not angry enough.
Yeah, is that right? That
That's
doesn't
it.
seem right.
That's
no.
it.
Big time.
Since we know you're not very comfortable up here, let's hit the elevator.
For an awkward elevator ride.
Nice.
Here
Yeah.
we go.
Now, Doug, of course, you wrote for the paper, you've been on TV, sports radio. I mean, you've really covered everything as far as sports media goes. How have you seen that change, especially now, internet radio, the blogosphere, and everything else?
Well, I think a lot of it's more entertainment now. You know, when I started out as a newspaper reporter back in Nashville, it was all about getting the story first and getting it right.
Yeah.
And now it's more or less keeping up with the story. You know, you've got to follow the internet. You got to follow your competitors 24/7. if you don't miss out on anything. If you missed out on something back then, you know, it was from 12 o'clock to 7 a.m. in the morning when the paper came out, you were terrified.
How do you think that affects the story? Because if you look at the Cam Newton story, for example, which just, you know, became this behemoth, you know, with all these sort of rumors and things of that nature, is this a bad change?
It's not a good thing. It's a bad change, because what happens, everybody tries to advance the story without advancing the reporting. Everybody wants to add a new twist instead of, in the old days, you may have taken off a day or two from the story and gone out, you know, feet on the ground and gotten new news and then advance the story that way. Now it's just they're advancing opinions. There's a big difference.
It's almost like we're the only two serious, professional, and accurate people out there now.
It's a lot like that.
And Mike Rader.
Oh,
and Mike Rader, sure, yeah, good guy, yeah, no doubt about it. Now, another thing I want to ask you about is a lot's been made about Nick Saban's relationship with the media, and you know, there's some speculation that media members are afraid to ask him certain questions, that they would, you know, be a little more probing with other coaches. Do you think that's a real thing, or is that just perception?
I think it's perception. I think the guys who cover him on a regular basis are very comfortable with how he comes across. They know when he's trying to get a message across. You know, the thing about Saban, if you actually listen to what he has to say, I think he gives you more insight into his team than just about any coach out there. You can ask him stuff, and you can ask him very innocent things knowing that you're going to get the response you want. You might set him off. You just go in there knowing it's not personal.
Has he ever yelled at you or possibly spanked you outside of a press conference?
No, the spanking. He really, I did not do a lot of one-on-ones with him, but there would be times where, you know, I would cover something like Pro Day or be there for something else, and we would strike up pretty casual conversations, and then I'd bring out my reporter's pad, and he was much different one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once he gets out of that cookie phase, when he finishes the old, what are
you
they?
Think where he comes from, Belichick. Don James, you know, kind of had that same approach. Maybe not as stern, but that was his mentor. You know, and they did not suffer fools well.
I wonder if he's going to start wearing those little cut-off sweatshirts at some point as well, do you think?
No, I think he sticks with the polos.
Okay, interesting, yeah.
He's a nice dressed man. Now listen, Doug, we have a little thing we call word association. This is where we
invented it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We give you a series of words, and you have to say exactly what comes to your mind at that moment. Are you ready to play word association?
Yes.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Right. 7th grade, though.
All right. Here we go. Word association. Newspapers.
Dying.
Twitter.
Chaos.
Rocky Top.
I'm going to have to pass on that one. I used to cover them.
That's a good answer.
Here's a tough one. Pink.
Cancer.
All right. Gary Pinkel.
Rebirth.
Targeting rule.
Flawed.
Condoleezza Rice.
Good choice.
Holly Rowe.
Professional.
BCS.
Take out the C. BS.
Nice. Gus Malzahn.
Inspiring.
Those are good answers.
No kidding, right? And most of them were correct.
Now, I don't know about taking out the C and making BS. I usually say take out the B and leaving the CS for crap stupid. You know. But you can go whichever way you want to with that, Doug. That's fine. You know.
Let's let all that sink in. Take a quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for This Is Your Life with Doug Siegrist. Welcome back to the Iron Bowl Hour. We're hanging out with Doug Siegrist. Doug, is Auburn the real deal?
I think they are. Listen, I'm not ready to say they're up with Florida State, Alabama, and Oregon, but this is a team I thought would be 7 wins at best, and they far surpassed what I expected, and they're doing it with defense, they're doing it with the running game, things that we thought would take a year or two to develop.
What do you make of this roller coaster? I guess a lot of people now are starting to speculate that really 2010 maybe was even less about Cam Newton, certainly not about Gene Chizik. Maybe it's all about Gus Malzahn. Do you think that makes sense?
I still think it was more about 2 super players, Cam Newton and Nick Fairley, because I think he made a difference on defense, but with a guy who could create a lot with that offense. You got to remember how many close calls Auburn had that year, and he always had the right call. He always knew when to bring Cam Newton to the forefront, when to kind of, protect the offense. And to me, that's great coaching, but I still think it was the elite player, the kind we will never see for a long time.
So final question, how many wins they end up with this year?
I still think 9. I still think the schedule will get them at some point. I think Georgia's still athletically a better team, and I think Alabama's a better team.
All right, so here's the deal now, Doug. This is a segment we call This Is Your Life, where basically we have two researchers, Preston and William. One of them is horrible, one's fantastic. We're going to have to fire one at the end of the night. So we'll give you 4 facts about your life. You tell us if they're true or false. You ready for This Is Your Life?
I'm ready.
This is our research. Here we go. Fact number 1. You and Ryan Siegrist are 4th cousins.
No, false.
Are you
third cousins?
3rd cousins. Okay, that was close. That was close.
All right, true or false? You have a newspaper voice and a radio face.
That's true. Yeah.
You know who said that about you?
I've said that.
It was Doug.
You did.
It was Doug who said it.
Yeah.
All right, next fact. You broke my heart when the zone went off the air.
I'm going to say that's true. And my heart's still mending as well.
Yeah.
I can confirm that's true. This guy.
It was the worst announcement of my life.
True or false? You and Joe DiMaggio were old golfing buddies.
True.
How'd you end up playing golf with Joe DiMaggio?
I was paired with him at a golf tournament and could not speak for 9 holes. And the last 9 holes, he helps. It was like the scene in Ghost. He comes up behind, helps me with my swing. Best friends after that.
And then making pottery before it's over with.
I was going to say almost more like Teen Wolf with the bowling.
And you're a huge baseball fan, so that's a big deal.
It was a big deal. I mean, Zoltan Joe. I mean, the greatest player until Willie makes.
And he's in that Paul Simon song too, right?
That's right, Mrs. Robinson.
There you go.
Yeah, great stuff. Doug Siegrist, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all the time we have for this Iron Bowl Hour. I'm Will Lockman.
And I'm Reed Lockamy.
Roll Eagle Reed.
And War Tide, Will.
Don't forget to follow us and interact with us via Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at the Iron Bowl Hour. You can also come see our radio show, Oh Brother Radio, every Thursday, live from Iron City from 7 to 9 p.m. on Birmingham Mountain Radio.
Now, Will, let's get out of here. I'm having emergency elective surgery in 30 minutes.
Promotional consideration provided by Express Helicopters at the Birmingham International Airport, specializing in charters, tours, news, and events. And Vulcan Park and Museum, home to the world's largest cast iron statue, spectacular views, and indoor and outdoor exhibits that recount the region's history, as well as the story of the iconic 56-foot-tall statue that has become the beloved symbol of Birmingham.
Reed, it's time for rapid fire questions on the grill with
Scary cat, Doug Siegrist.
Scaredy cat. All right. Reed, it's time for rapid fire questions on the grill with more. Gosh, sports media mogul. That's hard to say.
Oh, that's good.
I like
That's
that.
good. Yeah.
But it's not easy. This is throw up. This is bird throw up.
This is, actually, strictly speaking, it is. There are whiskers. I believe that's a femur.
This is disgusting.
This-
Would you say, Reed, that Doug Siegrist is the biggest celebrity we've ever had on the show?
Yep. Definitely.
It's time for another Agree to Disagree. Topics we have to disagree on.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Here we go. That was great.
So matter of fact. So matter of fact.
It's funny because it's true.
One spot. Alabama businesses now have access to a centralized statewide electronic filing and remittance system for sales, use, and rental taxes, allowing city and county taxes to be filed along with state taxes through a single website, myalabamataxes.alabama.gov.